How's it going, everyone? It's Mike with this old hot rod. Thanks for watching. Thanks for following along. Thanks for coming back, checking out, seeing what I got going on. Today it's Saturday, and it's going to be Saturday's video. So this is the Saturday prior to the Saturday you're watching this video. And it's about lunchtime. Kind of did some running around things with Allie this morning. Went down and saw my mom. Yeah, just kind of did like just life stuff, you know. Fix the camera, it's a little low. So what we're working on today, you can kind of see behind me, some things have changed. Got the bottom of the sedan there, the sedan's, it's somewhat being held up by the gantry, but it's also sitting on the firewall on some rubber mats. So the next thing we're going to be doing today is working on the bottom side of the sedan. And what that's going to entail is we're going to be welding all of the floor structure. So when I put the frame or the floor structure together, I welded the top and the sides. I couldn't weld the underneath, and it doesn't make sense to try to do it on your back. Welding, you get sparks and everything else. If you've done it, you know. So that's why the car is sitting the way it's sitting. Also, what I'll be able to do, let's move forwards and I'll show you guys. Some areas like this here, like where this panel is, where I broke it, a 90-degree edge, I got some kind of like some overhanging material here. So I'll be able to kind of trim this back, fold it, get that welded. This is the original portion of the sub rail that was all rotted. I can kind of cut that back because that's really not doing anything, so I can get rid of that. Again, I'm going to weld all these areas that I couldn't reach before. I'll fill in these tubes, weld the ends of these tubes up, I'll cap those off. Same thing over here on this side. I can kind of fix this, bend this over, get that welded up, cut this extension off with the sub rails kind of sticking out still. This for me is kind of the beginning of the end, let's put it. I got to this point with my Model T with the 27 Roadster. This is probably only going to take me about an hour, maybe an hour and a half at most. Once this is done, I actually do need to still do a little bit of work where the firewall, where the new firewall and everything meets the old firewall, the floor structure. I can cut some areas back on the floor. So down here on the floor structure, these are the floor pans. So this is the passenger side. I can kind of stick my hand in here, and there's a little bit of an overlap, about a ½ inch or an inch overlap. So I can trim this back here, trim this side back. You know, just kind of fine tune some things and kind of clean a few things up. So once that's done, and I do a little bit of work on the firewall area, I'm gonna lay the body back down on the floor, and I'm gonna put it on some type of a cart. I'm not exactly sure what I'm gonna put it on yet, but I'm gonna bring it outside and I'm gonna paint it. I'm gonna use the red oxide primer. I bought a quart. This is Magic Tractor and Implement Paint. I got this from Tractor Supply. You can't just apply it strictly with just this single stage. You have to also add a thinner if you're going to spray it. So whether it's mineral spirits or just a reducer or paint thinner, and then also a catalyst or a hardener, and that's what's going to help the paint harden so it won't be real soft. I'm hoping in the future, once this gets painted, there really shouldn't be any work that needs to be done after this gets painted. And again, I'm trying to just always constantly thinking about the next guy. I don't want to do something that someone's going to have to undo. So I'm going to get right to work. I'm going to get to welding and then figure out a good spot where this body will get painted, and then we'll get it painted. Alright, so I'm at the point where I basically have all the structure welded and the sheet metal kind of stitched welded or tack welded every inch or two all the way around the frame. What I need to do next is there's a couple of parts of the ends of the tubes that are exposed that are still open. So I'm going to get those things capped, and that's basically going to be it for me. I'm going to grab my plasma cutter and my cut-off wheel, and I'm going to eliminate a couple of these areas where the sub rails are still there but that are not really needed. I'm just going to remove them just to clean up the bottom of the car, and we'll call that essentially done. So oh boy, we got a fire. We got fire. Woo! Yikes. Phew! Smoking. Today's not a good day to start smoking. Got a little bottle of water that I have keep in the shop as a squirt bottle. No need to pull out the fire extinguisher for that. So now where we're at, we are ready to cap off the ends of these two tubes. That will be it for the fabrication underneath the car. Like I said, I still have a little bit of work to do on the firewall though, so we'll do that. We'll do that after the fact, because I'm not going to paint that yet, because I need it to be standing on the firewall in order to paint this. So just to make my life a little bit easier, what I'm going to do is I have a piece of 3/4 inch stock by 8 inch thick. That's the same dimension as the inside of this tube. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tack one end of it, weld that end, cut it off, and then tap it inside the hole, the end hole, and then just weld it tight. So it'll be welded on the inside wall of the outer tube. A lot faster than cutting them down individually and then trying to hold it in place. Welded in place, one side. Just cut it off. Whoop, that one didn't work. Tap it in place and then weld it. Well, I'd say that was perfect timing. Just ran out of gas in my bottle, my welding bottle. I'll end up having to switch out this bottle, but really at the end of the day, at this point, I'm basically all done welding on the bottom of the car. I'm ready for primer. Now I just gotta lower the body back down and put it on something so I can roll it outside. And at this point, I don't know that I actually have anything that I can roll it out on with. I'll figure something out. We'll be back. This is what's going on right now. I rolled the door open on the front of the garage. I had it covered in plastic, pulled the plastic off. The body is still sitting on its firewall. And what I need to do right now is I need to make another cart. I had said earlier in the video, I had a cart originally, I sold it. I bought a 38, 39 first generation Ford cab over out of Maine. I think 3 years ago maybe at this point. And I sold it, but I had it pre-sold on my way before I went to Carlisle. I had it pre-sold. So what I ended up doing was I set that cab on the body dolly that I built for a Model A, and I ended up needing it so I could transfer it from trailer to the person who was buying it. So now I need to build another one. So what I did was I ran to Lowe's Grab some caster wheels. I like to try to find the biggest ones I can get because I have a gravel driveway and they roll better instead of the small ones. So that's a 5-inch caster wheel. Spins. I bought all 4 of them so they all spin. When I purchased my 34 Ford off of Brad, he gave me a bunch of different size box tubing and flat steel and all types of stuff. So I grabbed a couple lengths of that I had on the rack outside, and we're just going to build a really basic body dolly that will fit on this particular body and then whatever other body that I'm going to be working on in the future. So hopefully this one will hang around. I do have another body dolly that I built for my 34, but the dimensions on that dolly, the way I have it built, it's specifically made for the 34 because the body on the 34 is attached to the chassis. It's welded from front to back on the chassis. That's how it was built in the 60s. I don't want to modify that body dolly or the cart because then I'll just end up having to modify it in the future if I ever need to put that body back on that. And honestly, I'm probably going to have to do that again before that car is finished being built. To save myself some time in the future, I figured I'd just build another dolly, and when I don't need it, I'll just tuck it out of the way. Can you guys see? Alright, so what I'm going to do real quick is I'm just going to get a front to back measurement on this body so I know how big I'm building this cart. 6 feet. Let's see what these are. So 12 feet. Perfect. Alright, we're going to cut them down. Cut 1.5 at 6 feet. So unfortunately, when the doors open, sometimes the light throws off the camera. But so I just measured a quick front to back, so the front of the body to the back of the body. I'm gonna make it a little shorter because it doesn't need to be the full length. I'm gonna make the cart 6 feet, 6 feet long, front to back. So let's get this one of these main runs cut, and then we'll get that, and then we'll get our legs cut. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create some verticals. I want the body to be, you know, probably like 16 inches off the ground. I don't want it too low to the ground. And then we'll get this thing welded up. We'll get the body sitting on it. It'll be nice when this car's out of here and I have lots of space. I will be loving it. Get working on something different. Looking forward to that too. All right, grab a square. Get cutting. How wide do we want them to be? I mean, we could do 30. Let's do it 30. 30 inches. Alright, so that should be 25. 25. Alright, so we need 2 pieces 25 inches. You following me? Are you with me? 2 pieces, 25. 25. And then we'll go to 50, but I'll measure a 16th over because of the blade. Grab my square. It'll be nice to have another cart. It's been a while. Let me get that welded up. Let me get those ends cleaned up real quick. Get that box welded up. And then we'll build the legs, and then we'll build the spots for the wheels. Let me shut the door. As much as I don't want to, because it's nice out. How's that? Is that better? Do you love it? I do. I love it. Alright, so that's what we got so far. We got this square. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this, just the areas where I need to weld it. I'm going to get those cleaned up real quick with a whiz wheel. Get those welded, flip it over, weld the other side. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get some vertical legs. We're going to build some vertical legs, probably 12 inches tall, maybe a little bit taller. And then I'm going to get my outriggers made, and then the wheels welded onto it. Just weld the wheels right to it. with the plates where the caster wheels are mounted to. And that's pretty much going to be it. Ah! What's going on, everyone? My SD card filled up on the camera, so the battery or the camera shut off as I was starting to build my body cart. But I ended up finishing the cart. I'll show you guys some pictures right now. So that's the cart. I ended up, fabricating it out of 2.5-inch box tubing. It's not super thick wall, heavy wall, so it's manageable as far as the weight goes. All right, everyone, that's going to be a wrap for me. I was able to get the body cart and chassis, the chassis cart or the body cart all set. It's actually a couple days later. My phone's acting up. My camera had died that day and during editing I realized my phone was screwed up when I was trying to video the wrap up on that particular video, and here I am doing it again. So I'm going to show you guys the body cart, even though you saw pictures of it. Things are kind of blown apart already at this point. I'm doing things that I said I wasn't going to do. I just can't seem to stop. So this is the car. You guys didn't see it all primed. So that's the car primed. And the body cart is underneath it. You can kind of see it. It's got 5-inch rubber wheels on it. The tubing itself is 2.5-inch box tube, thin wall. I ended up making the cart 6 feet long. The top 2 rails on the cart are 30 inches apart, so a Model A, a Model T, and anything else should fit on that body cart. And I flipped it over every which way, welded it all up. What I think I'll do is when I'm painting or priming next time, I'll probably just blast the thing with primer just to preserve it, because it's going to spend 99% of its life outside. But I'll be able to use that when I build the Blomberg Coopster, when I build the 32 Roadster, and my other project that you guys may have seen in the background, or is it the next video? It's the next video. So I already bought my next flip project, and you guys will see that coming up soon. Allie and I are going to do a live update pretty soon, probably within the next week or two when this car is wrapped up. Got a big announcement to make that I think will affect the channel in a good way, but I'm gonna wait till then to let you guys know what that's gonna be or what that is. It's definitely happening. It's just gonna wait a couple weeks to tell you guys. So that's gonna be it for me. Wrapping up the video. Got the bottom of the car all welded up. Like I said, at this point now the car's already primed. It's a couple days since. I am going to finish weld the wishbones where I pie cut them, when I adjusted the caster of the axle. So I'm going to get those welded up. I'm going to get the bungs welded on the rear axle. I'm going to get the spring mount finish welded. I'm going to flip the frame upside down and get everything welded on the frame underneath. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. So it's Tuesday afternoon, and I just want to get out into the shop. You can see it's already dark out, or almost dark. It's nice, it's getting darker later, so I'm able to come out in the garage, open the door because it was a nice day, and get some things off my plate. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Appreciate everyone following along. Thanks again, and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.